Welcome back to the show. Joining us now to talk sex and relationships is sexologist Dr. Limor Blockman. Hi, Limor. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
So what are we going to talk about today?
So today we're going to talk about the correlation between having sex early and a good relationship. Is there a correlation? What do you think?
I don't know. I think it would just depend on the couple. That's just my thought.
Okay, very interesting. And they examined it. They took, the researchers took 10,000 couples, or just people, individuals that are in a steady relationship, and asked them what is the quality of their relationship, and put them in 4 groups. The groups were pre-dating sex, someone that was having sex before it became a relationship, then early sex, you know, for first or second dates, having sex, then delayed sex would be like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks later, and no sex, abstinence, nothing happening yet. And of course, the result was very non-surprising. They said that they found a very strong correlation between having sex late and a good relationship. But is it so? I really want to get to this.
The best thing comes to those who wait.
Yeah, well, they would like to say this, but I want to say that in general, there is, you know, an assumption that, yeah, if you wait, it's going to be better, and if there's something that have to do with early sex and maybe damaging the relationship later, or maybe not happening at all, is there something that has to do with it? So, first of all, I want to say that society in general, you know, there's the sexual double standard that is always pursuing us, and that it's always a problem. And society likes to look at women as a holy vessel that is either the Madonna or whore dichotomy is always something that, you know, haunts us. It's always a problem. And men like to state that they like women that are open-minded and free and, you know, pursue their interest in sex and sexuality. But on the surface, it looks this way, but initially, you know, it doesn't happen.
Right.
So for that reason, they assume that there's something else that maybe is relevant to tackle here. And what they did is they took a study of 152 women, college women, and asked them something that had to do with sexual regret. Now, I want to say that sexual regret is something very interesting that works for both genders. So for men, it's post-coital regret, which AKA the need to flee.
The fleeing instinct.
Yes, the fleeing instinct. As soon as oxytocin plummets, does it need to be elsewhere for men? And then for women, it's called also something along the line of post-coital regret. And for women, it's the feeling that you were used, that you shouldn't have been there, you know, all these things that have to do with that. And they found that 2 predictive behaviors have to do with this regret. One of them is to have sex with someone that you just met over the last 24 hours. And the second one was someone that you just met once, only once, and never again.
One night stand.
Yeah, one night stand or just one day stand, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
And I want to say the non-coital hookup, meaning that it wasn't penetrative sex, was not considered regretful or anything, which means that...
That's interesting.
Yes, that college women are not really aware of the health risks that have to do with penetrative sex. And what was very interesting about this in particular, the regret was correlated with the quality of the sex.
Okay, so if it wasn't good, then regret.
High quality was, yeah, of course, low regret, and if it was bad quality, high regret. And I want to say, obviously, there is some correlation. It really has to do with the person. But I want to say that my suggestion is to know yourself and really not fall into these boxes of what society is trying to tell us. You know, the different strokes for different folks, pun well intended. Really, you want to understand who you are and how can you really relate to this topic. And I want to say that early sexual engagement doesn't necessarily correlate with failure of relationship, nor, you know, late engagement in sexuality, you know, definitely will establish a relationship that will end in marriage or something in that sort. So I want to say there's something so particular and very personal, and you need to really engage in it in a very responsible way, and not be influenced by, for instance, shows like Sex and the City. They tell you how you need to behave.
Right, exactly.
Things of that sort.
Exactly. Just follow your instincts.
Yes, absolutely.
And proceed cautiously.
Yes.
Limor, thanks so much for this.
Thank you.
And curious about how people feel about you? Crush scans your text messages with your crush, family, and friends to see how much people like you. All of this is done secretly. They give you scores and charts of your closest relationships based on machine learning. Joining us now on Skype from New York to tell us all about it is the app's founder, S. Lee. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So tell us, okay, I explained a little bit. How does it work?
So I guess the easiest way is to just say it kind of works like a human does. So, you know, when you meet somebody and you first start texting, you don't know that person very well, but you're going to gauge your interaction with them, how excited they are in their communication, how quickly they get back to you, kind of the words and kind of the overall tone of the communication.
And how'd you come up with the idea, generally?
I actually came up with it when I was sitting in a park with a friend of mine who had just moved to New York, and he was somewhat confused by the dating scene here. He had gone on a date with somebody, and he thought it went really well. And they texted afterwards for a bit, and then she just wouldn't reply to his texts. And so when he told me that, I took a look at his phone, and I could tell she liked him, but that wasn't too obvious to him. I've lived in New York for about 10 years now, so I've kind of gone through my share of confusing behavior on text. So I figured whatever had gone through my mind could be done with an algorithm that would you know, be more accurate and not have kind of the memory.
Yeah. But as to play devil's advocate, a lot of people say that you cannot really communicate feelings and emotions through text. So what would you say to that?
I do agree in a sense that it's difficult to pick up traditional cues and conversations from text because obviously you're not live. But I actually think it's just a different set of body language. You know, if somebody you were talking to in real life kind of had, you know, seemed kind of monotonic or seemed unenergetic, you'd be able to pick up on that. But in the same way, you know, if somebody seemed like they took 5 minutes to reply and now they're taking 8 minutes to reply, that's kind of body language in a way too.
Yeah, you're right. So and in a sense, you know, texting is the language of the present. It's just how people communicate these days. So really interesting stuff. Thanks so much for joining us. Very early morning for you, S. Lee from New York. Thanks so much. And coming up next, we'll take an inside look at the exclusive King David Hotel in Jerusalem, where President Trump stayed on his recent visit. Stay tuned.